Good morning, second grade. How are you? I hope everyone is doing so well this morning and they're ready to get to work. Today, super easy. You guys have been doing this for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Okay, you guys know you're going to go in, you're going to read pages 8 through 11. Just finish your assignment called geography. If you want to do your Nearpod, that's awesome. Go ahead and do it. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. Just make sure your assignment on Headspace done. Your discussion post today is about your call time, right? Yes, your call is with me this week, so you need to let me know what time, where, or what time, what day, and whose phone number am I calling. Okay, am I calling Mom Sal? Am I going to call someone who I haven't called before? Let me know. I think that's it. Okay, that's it for today. I am going to read you guys one chapter in Because of Winn-Dixie real quick. All right, and remember, Miss Franny is about to tell us about the bear in the library. Back when Florida was wild, when it consisted of nothing but palmetto trees and mosquitoes, so big they could fly away with you, Miss Franny Block started. I was just a little girl, no bigger than you. My father, Herman H. Block, told me that I could have anything I wanted for my birthday. Anything at all. Miss Franny looked around the library. She leaned in close to me. I don't want to appear prideful, she said, but my daddy was a very rich man. A very rich man. She nodded, and then she leaned back and said, I was a little girl who loved to read, so I told him, Daddy, I would most certainly love a library for my birthday. A small little library would be wonderful. You asked for a whole library? A small one, Miss Franny nodded. I wanted a little house full of nothing but books. I wanted to share them too, and I got my wish. My father built me this house, this very one we're sitting in now. At a very young age, I became a librarian. Yes, ma'am. What about the bear? I asked. Did I mention that Florida was wild in those days? Miss Franny Block said. You did. It was wild. There were wild men and wild women and wild animals, like bears. Yes, ma'am, that's right. Now I have to tell you, I was a little Miss Know-It-All. I was a Miss Smarty Pants with my library full of books. Oh, yes, ma'am, I thought I knew the answers to everything. Well, one hot Thursday, I was sitting in my library with all the doors and windows open and my nose stuck in a book, when a shadow crossed the desk. Without even looking up, yes, ma'am, without even looking up, I said, Is there a book I can help you find? Well, there was no answer. And I thought, it might have been a wild man or a wild woman scared of all these books and afraid to speak up. But then I became aware of a very particular smell, a very strong smell. I raised my eyes slowly, and standing right in front of me was a bear. Yes, ma'am, a very large bear. How big? I asked. Oh, well, she said, perhaps 3 times the size of your dog. Then what happened? Well, said Miss Franny, I looked at him and he looked at me and he put his big nose up in the air and he sniffed like he was trying to decide if the little Miss Know-It-All librarian was what he was in the mood to eat. And I sat there and then I thought, well, if this bear intends to eat me, I'm not going to let this happen without a fight. No, ma'am. So very slowly and very carefully, I raised up the book I was reading. What book was it? I asked. Why, it was War and Peace, a very large book. I raised it up slowly, and I aimed it carefully, and I threw it right at the bear, and I screamed, Be gone! And you know what? No, ma'am, I said. He went. But this is what I will never forget. He took the book with him. Nuh-uh, I said. Yes, ma'am, said Miss Franny. He snatched it up, and he ran. No, I never saw him again. Well, the men in the town used to tease me about it. They used to say, Miss Franny, we saw a bear of yours out in the woods today. He was reading that book, and he said it was sure good, and would it be all right if he kept it for just another week? Yes, ma'am, they teased me about it, she sighed. I imagine I'm the only one left from those days. I imagine I'm the only one who even recalls the bear. All my friends, everyone I knew when I was young, they're all gone. She sighed again. She looked sad and old and wrinkled. And it was the same way I felt sometimes, being friendless in a new town and not having my mama to comfort me. I sighed too. Winn-Dixie raised his head off of his paws, and he looked back and forth between me and Miss Franny. He sat up, and then he showed Miss Franny his teeth. Well, now look at that, she said. That dog is smiling at me. It's a talent of his, I told her. "It is a fine talent," said Miss Franny, "a very fine talent," and she smiled back at Winn-Dixie. "We could be friends," I said to Miss Franny. "I mean you and me, and Winn-Dixie. We could all be friends." Miss Franny smiled even bigger. "Why, that would be grand," she said, "just grand." And right at that moment, right when the three of us decided to be friends, who should come marching in to the Herman W. Block Memorial Library but old pinch-faced Amanda Wilkins. She walked right up to Miss Franny's desk and said, "I finished John Tremaine. I enjoyed it very much, but I would like something even more difficult to read now, because I'm an advanced reader." "Yes, dear, I know," said Miss Franny, and she got up out of her chair. Amanda pretended like I wasn't there, and she stared right past me. "Are dogs allowed in the library?" she asked Miss Franny as they walked away. "Certain ones," said Miss Franny, "a select few." And then she turned around and winked at me, and I smiled back. I had just made my first friend in Naomi, and nobody was going to mess that up for me, not even old pinch-faced Amanda Wilkinson. And that is it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you back tomorrow for more of Because of Winn-Dixie. Okay, bye!